Taxi vlog 308. What a week it's been. So let me get this set up properly here. What the? What? Okay. I just had one of those moments. You know those moments when you just kind of are doing something automatically and it doesn't really register what you're doing? Never mind that. What a week it's been. I'm first in the zone. Shit, I got a call right away. Where is that? Okay. I guess I'll do it. Well, I'll start telling you about the week to begin with before I pick these people up. How much time have I got? Out front, 1 minute ago. Okay. Monday I came out, it was dead, it was slow, it was waits of an hour or two between calls. It was getting to 4 in the morning and having only, well, not having much on. I mean, to the point where I would make maybe $30 or $40 to take home, or less. I think it was like 20. And then I got sent to a call which took me out to the airport. $60. Like, what are the chances? I was not expecting that because the night had been so dead. Now the following night, the Tuesday night, I came out, I waited about an hour for my first one and I run out to the ferries. A guy with a bicycle was going out to the ferries. He was going to one of the Gulf Islands and missed his bus. Then I had such a slow night. I had 4 fares all night. And at 1 o'clock, there was nothing going on. I got sent to the Red Line. 5 different taxis left there with people in them, and I had been just across the street when I was sent there. Got nothing. So I went back to the parking lot and started reading my book. And fell asleep, and then realized that I had been off the board. I had had no communications. And oh, there's my fare waiting right there. Well, I'll tell you what happened after that. Okay, so I just dropped off these 2 boys who were looking for a place to live. And it was like $11.75 on the meter, and I got like $19 for it. So I must have done something right. Let me just fix this thing so that it stays. Hopefully that stays where it is. Okay, so what happened at the end of that Tuesday night? I had like, 4 fares totaling about $60 after that run to the airport, which was another $60. So like I had $120 on, and the MDT went down, or the computer went down, and there was no communication, and then I fell asleep while it was down, and then I woke up just before 4 going, this is bullshit. So I sat there again for an hour and read my book because there wasn't much else to do. And then at about 4:45 I get this call. It says Rock Bay, and Rock Bay is kind of like a scuzzy neighborhood. It's like Hooker's Row. It's like, and there was this guy coming from an old, it used to be a motel, but it was converted into like low-rent suites. And he came out, and actually when I took a look, I scrolled down to the second page of this call, and it said that the guy's going to Spook, which I had trouble believing. But he comes out and says, I'm going to Spook Fishing Charters. Never done this before. I'm from the Yukon. And, well, people from the Yukon are a different breed. or they can be. The North is quite special. I don't mean that in a bad way, I just mean it's special. So the guy went out to Souk, and when we got out there it was like $72 or $73 on the meter. He said, cash or card? And I said, well, if you got cash, that'd be the best, you know. So he gave me $80 in cash and said, that's it, can I have a number to call to get a ride back? And I just, you know, gave him our card, and great. So that saved my Tuesday night. Wednesday. Well, Wednesday was going okay. And after midnight, I had broken even, which is good as far as Wednesdays go. I had a few more little fares before 3 o'clock, so I had about 150 on. Then I got sent to an apartment building on the gorge. Just a very innocent apartment building. It's like 1 in the morning. Got a red light. I don't like Friday traffic. So it's 1 in the morning, and I get called to this address on the gorge, and this guy comes out and says, we're going to Colwood, other side of Esquimalt Lagoon. So we went, okay, that's good ride. Ended up being good for $30 or so. He gave me $35. So then I'm coming back across the lagoon and over the little bridge there and up the hill past Fort Rod Hill, which was a military, I guess a battlement or a thing about 100 years ago to protect Victoria from invasion from the Pacific. It was never used, never a shot was fired from Fort Rod Hill, but I digress. I got sent to the casino, which was on my way back into town. So I had seen 2 cars in front of the casino as we were heading out there, so I figured they're gone already. And when I'm pulling in to the casino, there's another cab leaving with people in it, and it's a guy's name I was sent for. I don't know if it was Sean or Kevin or some name like that. There was this woman waving at me, this First Nations woman, little lady about 45, 50 years old, waving at me, gets in, says, I'm going to Brentwood Bay. Brentwood Bay, lovely, thank you. So casino, we come back in past the hospital, we take interurban out to West Saanich, and West Saanich to Brentwood Bay, and of course she lived on the reserve just after the town of Brentwood Bay, so that was good for another $40. Now I thought, this is kind of luck. What with my airporter in the morning and these 2 fares in a row, this is really good. Can't believe it. So later on, I came back into town, and I'm sitting there with my friend. We're sitting in the parking lot talking about how stuff is going. And then I get a call to a cheap motel. And the guy says, we're going to Value Village. Now it's 4 in the morning. Value Village is closed. Something in Value Village, what's he going to do down there? Score some drugs? And sometimes there are drug dealers hanging around there, prostitutes and junkies and that whole thing. So we get down there, but on the way down there they see a couple of police cars, and that was the only thing else on the road besides us. And they thought, oh, this is not good. We don't need any trouble from the police. So they decide to go into the deep ends of Esquimalt instead of taking their car, because if they took their car they might get stopped, right? And they'd been drinking, and here they're real Nazis about drinking and driving. If you had 1 glass of wine with dinner 3 hours ago, and you tell the truth, they will say, oh, you're impaired. And they'll yank your car and impound it and pull your license for 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever. And if it's not your first offense, if it's your first time, they'll go lenient on you. But if it's your second time, they might take your license for a month. They might have to install a breathalyzer in your car so that your car won't start unless you breathe into this thing and you breathe sober. Oh, real stupid. So, what are you doing? Driving. Okay. People who just slow down in the middle of the block, kind of contemplate their navels instead of, you know, if you want to go sightseeing, park the car and walk. How many times have I said that? I can't count. So we drop off the guy in Esquimalt. Big guy, by the way. He filled up the whole front seat. I couldn't reach my coffee cup. That's how big this guy was. His arm was in the way. Big boy. And he got out, gave me $20, was 15 on the clock. And the guy in the back says, listen, I'm going to come in the front with you. Let me get in the front with you. And I said, okay, fine. So the other guy's gone, and this one says, do you take Interac? I said, well, yeah, sure we take Interac. He says, I'm going to North Saanich. And I say, you mean out near Sydney? He says, oh no, past Sydney, out Land's End Road. Now that's an extra $60 on top of what we had already racked up. Beautiful. I should have bought a lottery ticket. And last night started out good. I mean, in the first 3 hours, I had my lease on, and another hour after that I had my lease and fuel, and I was making a profit already. This is Thursday night. And after that Wednesday, I didn't care what happened. And my friend and I were in the parking lot again, waiting on calls. He would get a trip, it would be like $6. I would get one, it would be like $20. He'd get another trip, it'd be like $8. Make it $9, would say the customer, and I'd get one that would be like, you know, $12, and I'd get a $20 bill, and it's like, keep the change. What am I doing right this week? So last night turned out all right again, and it looks like we'll have no problems having enough spending money for our vacation. I've already booked our rooms because we're going to a wedding in near Calgary, so I booked a room halfway between Victoria and Calgary to stop on the first night. And when we're in Calgary, we got Cindy's relatives to stay with, so there's no problem there. But then for one night, we're going to go to Drumheller and check out the dinosaur museum, because that's something I've been wanting to do for years and years and years. Finally, we get to do it. So every year we have a vacation of some kind that might involve a family thing, but I like to get something in there that I've never done before and wanted to do for a while. It's like last year when we went to Jasper. I wanted to go to Jasper for about 16 years, and we finally went. So the night worked out very well. I didn't get a chance to read much. I'm still a couple 100 pages from the end of the Evolutionary Void. It's a difficult book, and I'm getting interrupted often, so it doesn't really flow that well, and I have to think real hard where I am when I start reading again. And then, of course, I get interrupted by another fare, or I'm the first in the zone again. Shit. I could get a call anytime now. So anyway, that Thursday night, last night, worked out really well. I did good. Now we're in Friday. I was first in the zone when I booked on. I had my first call. I took these boys where they're going, and now I've talked about my entire week already, and I haven't had my second call yet, but could be any time now. Update. Yeah. Position 1. Nobody else in the zone. I'm the only one here. Any second now. I'll get to you in the morning hours, either out here or at home. There's the call. There it is. And it's not too far away. Talk to you later. So here we are, 6:03 in the morning. I had just parked the taxi about 10 minutes ago, and I just filled in my lease slip for the week. So we have to go over to the office and drop that off. And might as well be on our way. So as far as the Friday night went, it started out okay. It was a little bit on the sluggish side. Took about took about 4 hours to make a first $100. And then after that, it got busier, faster. And I was connecting with some good trips. There was one I got after dropping a guy off in Gordon Head. I got sent to an address on Shelburne, and picked up these girls. The first thing one of them wanted was me to turn on the heat because she was cold. And then her friend got in, and they wanted to play the radio. And of course these girls had been doing some pre-drinking, so they were already on the way. And so when one of the songs came up, one of them started singing, and of course she leaned in between the seats here, and her singing caused me to go like this and stick my finger in my ear so I wouldn't have to hear her. And then the two of them were apologizing profusely. Apologies, sorry, 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 sir, sorry, sir, sorry, sir. And then we pulled up in front of the place they wanted to go to downtown and dropped them off. Then one of them wanted to pay half of it in Interac, and the other one wanted to pay half of it in cash, or also in Interac, but she ended up paying it in cash. It was just bullshit that way. A lot of people are into bullshit. And had one that went from Finlayson out to Langford, which was nice. That was a good fare. And then I had a couple out in the western communities between 1 and 2 o'clock to keep me busy out there before coming back into town. Then I came back into town and had one really long one. Well, it wasn't really long, it was like $20, but for tonight it was really long. I had a lot of shorter ones tonight. Oh, there goes my trip sheets stuff. So it's Saturday morning. Tonight I guess went okay. I didn't get to read very much. I kept getting calls, and I did have a couple of bullshit ones too. There was one call where I get sent to the Red Lion Hotel, which is kind of a, let's say, low class kind of place, and I had these 3 drunks with a bicycle, and they wanted me to put the bicycle and take all 3 of them where they were going. I said, look, I can put a bicycle in there if it's only one person. Then I can fold the seats down and put the bicycle in there. But with 3 people, I cannot do a bicycle. Oh, well, we called the wrong cab then. Great, call something else then. Yeah, go ahead, call something else. So they must have called something else. Then, what was the other bullshit one? Oh yeah, I got sent to Walmart at one point. And I get there, and it was a family of 4, and they had 3 of those big size Walmart shopping carts full of stuff, groceries and all kinds of other things, and it's like, fuck that. The guy looked at me and he said, that's not fitting in there, you better call us a van. So I called our office. We only have 2 vans, neither of which was on the road at the time, and I say, well, can you call one of our other cab companies to send a van? And the funny part is, I was sent there again like 10 minutes later, and there was the guy, the same guy, putting a bunch of stuff into a regular cab, and I was sent to pick someone else up. Someone else who was quite pleasant anyway, so I didn't have to deal with that. That guy seemed to be a jerk-off, you know. 3 Walmart, big Walmart shopping carts full. And it's just too much. Anyway, the night ended up okay. I worked 11 hours. I did almost, well, I did all right. I didn't do tremendously great, but I did reasonable for this time of year, I suppose. And I've had a good week all in all. Can't really complain. It's better than last week was. And so now it's my weekend. As soon as I drop off this lease envelope here, drop this. Anyway, hope yours is better than mine. Later.